Hey everyone, I'm Dan from JazzComposersPresent.com, an online space where composers, musicians, and listeners come together to celebrate the music we love. I'm joined today by Rachel Eckroth, Grammy-nominated pianist, keyboardist, composer, and vocalist. Rachel is here to show us how to construct a work based off of a narrative theme.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me back, Dan. All right, so I'm going to talk about writing music based on a theme or a story. So recently I made a duo record with a percussionist named John Hadfield, composer, percussionist, and we decided, since it was a duo record, we decided to come up with a unifying theme to make it more cohesive and have more depth than just a typical duo record. So we decided to explore religion and spirituality and belief as a guiding force as the foundation of our record. So we made a 10-song album called Speaking in Tongues, and each song has a different story or a different theme kind of revolving around the big subject. So I want to tell you guys some steps to do this yourselves, and it's all very broad. Step one would be figure out what your story is. So, obviously, what is the subject that you want to musically tell the story? Number two would be what elements are at your disposal. So what kind of record are you making? What's the style? What instruments are you using? Just all the possibilities that you have creating music. I guess it doesn't have to be a record, but if you're just writing a piece, what do you have at your disposal? And then third, how do your ideas highlight the parts of the story that you want to highlight? So I'm going to tell you guys how we did it. First we'll play the tune I want to talk about. This is called Jeanne d'Arc. Okay, so that's called Jeanne d'Arc, so Joan of Arc. The story of Joan of Arc is that she was a young French teenager that was called by spirits and visions to help lead an army in France to conquer England. Very, short version of that story. But we wanted to tell that story through music. So the first thing we did was there's the two of us, John and I. John is very knowledgeable about African grooves and instruments, and we started with a groove called Ganawa that's from Morocco, that is a groove that's used in trance music. So a groove that's used to evoke spirits and visions and things like that. So completely different worlds, but connected that way. So that's where we started. And then, let's see, let's show the Ganawa groove here. It's a 12/8 groove, and it kind of has a heavy four beneath it. So to me, the four feeling underneath this Ganawa groove is kind of the march, or the march to war. So we're trying to evoke that imagery as well. And then melodically, so I wrote to this groove. The first, and we can show the first slide, which is the intro to this song, and also kind of the melody, the general melody. I wanted to make something that felt very kind of erratic and a little atonal because of, I wanted it to evoke the idea of visions and hearing voices. And so it's kind of all over the place. It's a little atonal. It's a little spread out and strange at the beginning. So we start there, and then it moves into second slide, kind of settles into this 4 feeling of a march underneath. So that's basically it. So evoking the hearing voices and then evoking the march feel. Page 3, we get back into the strange melody or a stranger melody. This is kind of more erratic and similar idea to the beginning, hearing voices. So I have these rhythms that are sort of off-centered and unexpected. And then fourth slide, last slide, we basically I took the bass line and I made it into the melody, and it's actually sort of a rhythmic modulation thing happening here where it becomes a little more dreamy and dreamlike. So that's basically it. It's simple and complicated at the same time. There's a lot of thought put behind it, but we tried to tell the story of these 2 specific parts of Jeanne d'Arc, of her hearing voices, and then just the march to war. Or, she took all the people with her. She took the army with her. They followed her to conquer England. So that's essentially how we wrote this song, based off a specific theme. We took the story and did our best to try to paint a picture for the listener. So I recommend trying this. Find something that you want to talk about, write about, and do it through music. Figure out your story, figure out the elements at your disposal, how you're going to highlight the ideas of the story, and can you paint a picture that the listeners will see.
Thanks for watching today's mini lesson. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos down below. To watch our full-length events and participate in live Q&As with our presenting artists, head to jazzcomposerspresent.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.